What is going on, guys? This is Kenji from Brazil. Some of you might know me as Luke Kennes from the Tricky Gym Discord channel. I am very excited to show you all my dragon lists that I've been working over the last couple of months. I've been getting some pretty great results with it. I got first place in a 28 in-person tournament here in Brazil. Most recently, I got the first place in the LAIC Switch Series with 34 participants, top 8 cut, best of 3 matches, 90 minutes. Pretty competitive environment. Not only this list is doing great on GLC Fridays locals, but also in pretty competitive tournaments against the best decks that we have in the format, right? In my humble opinion, this is one of the best decks that we have now in the format. The Dragon type, the Dragon Gym is probably one of the best gyms in the current meta, along with probably Colorless and Psychic. I am a true believer in the Dragon archetype without the Dragonite, because to my understanding, Dragonite does not provide the explosiveness that the Dragon type can have in the early game, due to the availability of the best card, one of the best cards in the GLC, which is the double dragon energy, as I'll show later on from my choice of trainers. But in this deck we'll have a lot of cards to search this particular card in order not only to donk when we are provided this opportunity, but to get this energy as consistently as we can. And because we can get it fast into the game, it gets discarded early in the game, and we can use some other trainers to get back into the deck and then use this card 2 times in a game, even 3 times in a game. It is possible with the combination of cards, with the combination of trainers that we have in this list. Okay, so going to the lines that I chose for the Pokemon. Well, as you might have noticed, those Pokemons are, and all my cards are in Portuguese, most of them. That is because I'm Brazilian, I'm not American, so apologies if I cannot express myself in the clearest way, but I'm trying my best. I hope you can all understand. But Hexorus for me is one of the stars of the deck, with its attack, bring down the X. I believe it's the name of the first move. For one fighting energy, it can knock out any Pokemon that has a special energy attached to it. The counter arguments that I heard from it was like, well, if your opponent knows that you're playing Hexorus, they would just basically simply not attach the special energy. Well, it's not that simple, right? We all know that if Necrozma wants to hit 160, it needs the special energy. Colorless is not that trivial to not play special energy. Sure, in some matches, your opponent might choose more carefully when or where to attach their special energy, but like Wailord can only attack for too much while using the special energy. I'm talking about the special waves Wailord, right? Even in the worst case scenario where the opponent does not have a special energy, or he manages to just attach to some other Pokemon that you do not want to knock out, or you're not unable to gust, anyway, you always have the option to attack with the second attack, which is for 230, which is a very high number. It is very important that you can hit more than 160, right? I say this because the other cards that we have, the other cards that we have in this deck can only hit for 160 maximum without considering any modifiers like Muscle Band, right? So Drampa is the other choice that we have for this deck, which can hit for 70, and if any Pokemon on your bench has any damage counter, it can hit 90 plus, so 160. Regidrago can only hit for 160 as well. Druddigon as well, he hits 40 plus 120 if any of your Pokemon was knocked out. And even Garchomp has only, guess what, 160 damage off a cap, so your typical dragon attackers are only hitting for 160, and while it is enough to knock out most of the Pokemon, it is not enough to knock out all of the Pokemon, right? but this Hexoros is probably enough to knock basically anything. You know, there are just few Pokemon that will not get knocked out for 230, and if they are, they're probably using a tool like Luxurious Cape, you know, pot helmet, something like that. You can be discarded later on or before you attack using the field blower that we also had, right? So other than Haxorus, Fraxure is also a really great card. With its Enerve ability, you are also protecting yourself with Gust Effect trainers, against Gust Effect trainers like Boss's Orders, Kuzma, Counter Catchers. So even though you are telegraphing that, look, I'll have a Hexorus in a couple of turns, when you evolve it to Fracture, they will not be able to Gust him up and knock him out, right? Unless they manage to disable your ability with, you know, neutralizing gas from Galarian Wheezing, or, you know, canceling clone, but that is more unlikely to happen, right? And then lastly, this Axel is amazing. This deck, a huge shout out to my friend Guilherme, which played the colorless deck against me on the top 8. But this Axel saved me against the colorless matchup, because the colorless Guilherme was able to just set his board really fast, you know, with Scuvet, Uranguru, Bibarel. And then I was like, well, there's no way that I can possibly turn the momentum to my side unless he breaks like fantastically. And it is very unlikely if they have Scuvet or Guru and Bibaro, right? But then I went to a somewhat desperate move, like all or nothing, high risk, high reward move that was go to directly to Axel, and then use Ultra Evolution, which you can flip a coin. If heads, you can evolve directly to Hexorus, right? So it is basically an Ascension attack with steroids. So yeah, you can flip the momentum to your side in desperate moments, right? Not only on desperate moments, but in one of my other matches against the Psychic deck, I knew that my opponent would not be able to knock my Axel in their turn, right? So then I was like, well, I'll just promote Axel, I'll just retreat my Tatsugiri, I'll promote Axel, I'll attach an energy, and let's see if he manages to evolve. And yeah, and indeed, I flipped ahead, and then I was able to get Hexorus very early in the game, giving so much pressure to my opponent that, you know, not all decks are able to respond to this kind of early aggression, right? And we have this early aggression available not only because of the not only due to this Ultra Evolution, which is, you know, more like a gimmick, you know, more like a second option. Our main thing here is going to be going with Drampa, you know, searching the double dragon energy, you know, hopefully even getting someone in our bench with the damage counter so that we can hit 160 for the double dragon energy. In our turn 1 or turn 2 of the game, we can hit 160 with a double dragon attached, and even with the Luxurious Cape attached as well, which is crazy. It is not that difficult to happen, okay? So we can use Drampa pretty consistently. We can always dunk when we have when we are presented the opportunity. It is not a dunk deck like, you know, a dark deck where you run like Hoopa and Galarian Meowth. But you know, we can always dunk with Drampa when we're needed. When it is needed, right? You know, Garchomp, you all know what he does. Gabite as well. One thing that I would change though, it is this Gibble. This 50 HP has turned out to be a liability against you know, Lost Zone, which spreads 120 damage, 12 damage counters. So they would always target my Gibble and then 70 to Tatsugiri or Dreepy, and then, you know, they would take 2 Pokemon out with 1 attack, which was very bad, right? Other than that, finally we have Tatsugiri and Dracloak. So as I said, I'm not a believer on the Dragonite archetype anymore. I really prefer those two, because Tatsugiri, well, you can get immediate value as soon as turn 1. If you open with it, you know, you can just look at the top 6 cards of your deck, pick any supporter that you want, and if you manage to find Lance or open with Lance in your hand, it's amazing, right? You can pick just 3 dragon Pokemon of your deck and just start to set your board up really fast, right? And then the other card here, it is the Dracloak, Dreepy Dracloak, a stage 1 line here, where you can look at the top 2 cards of your deck and then choose one goes to your hand, one goes to the bottom, and that if you combine with Tatsugiri. So for instance, if I have any tool that that makes my Tatsugiri retreat free, I got a Pokemon that is knocked out, I will draw for turn, I will use the Dracloak's ability, I'll look the top 2 cards of my deck, I'll put one into my hand, the other one to the bottom of my deck, and then I'll use Tatsugiri's ability and I'll look to the top 6 cards of my deck and choose any supporter that I want. So at that time I will get 1 card from the top draw, the top deck draw. I will get to see 2 more cards from the Dracloak and then 6 more with Tatsugiri. So there are lots of things that you can do to improve the odds that you find exactly the supporter that you need for the turn. So that is really good. Those two function in a very synergetic way. You know, they go very well together. And unlike the Dragonite, where you can prize one of the pieces and you're unable to get the ball going on, with those two, you know, even if you're Press Dracloak, you can find Gladio with Tatsugiri, and then immediately switch it with the Dracloak that is on the prize and evolve it, right? And if Tatsugiri is on the prize, it's even easier, right? If he's swinging a heavy ball, you know, we have a lot of ways to take him out of the prizes. So that was my choice of Pokemons. I know some of you are not huge fans of Regidrago, but you know, I like Regidrago because he's a really good starter. There are lots of cards in this deck that discard cards from your hand in order to activate its effect. So it is a very nice card to have. You can thin out your hand in order to draw more cards. So I don't love him, but I like him, right? Going to our supporters, I have Lance, you know, for the setup. It is an amazing card. Gladio for consistency. We want to avoid prizing the Double Dragon Energy and Garchomp and even Luxurious Escape. Those are your 3 most important cards, I would say. Arven is here for consistency, you know. We all know. Iono and Marnie. Those 2 cards are my shuffle draw cards. You can notice that it is shuffle and put on the bottom of your deck and then draw. That synergizes very well with the Dracloak as well. So you're always keeping track of what is being put on the bottom of your deck. So you maximize the chance of you finding what you need with the Dracloak or top decking or using Marnie or Iono, right? Even the energy lotto, if you still have the Double Dragon Energy or any other energy that you want, you know, you vastly improve your ability to find the things that you need from the top of your deck, right? Other than that, you know, Boss's Orders, Guzma, pretty standard ones. For energy acceleration, we also use Crispin, a very, very great card in the Dragon archetype, as we use 3 different types of basic energy. They're the water energy, fire, and fighting energy. Raihan, very good for consistency and an energy accelerator. Teammates is also very nice. Rosian's backup. This one is my secret sauce. Not much. I didn't see anyone actually use him in a dragon list, but I found it to be particularly strong in the deck where we can manipulate what is being put down on the bottom of our deck. You know, we can keep track, we can keep digging deeper into the deck to find the things that we need. So some of the times I would use Rosian's backup at the end of the game, where, you know, after using so much Haxorus and Garchomp, the deck is just this thin with 3 or 4 or 5 cards in the deck. I'll use Rosian's backup, you know, draw with Dracloak, the things that I need, find the Double Dragon the 2nd or the 3rd time in a game. So it is a very nice card. And differently than the special charge, if Rosian's backup gets discarded, we can always reuse it with VI Seeker, or even recover it with Cynthia and Caitlyn, right? Cynthia Caitlyn is here mostly because it synergizes very well with Guzman Hala and the tag call that I have, which is an item card that basically searches you 2 tag team cards like Cynthia Caitlyn and Guzman Hala. Guzman Hala and Chorus Tenacity are probably 2 of the best cards, the best supporter in the deck, because it can find you the energy that you need, that being the double dragon energy, the best card in the deck, or any other one that you might find it useful for the turn. So for instance, if you began the behind on prizes, you can always pick the counter energy, but if you're in need to attack right away, you can pick up the double dragon energy. If you need someone in your bench with to activate your trample ability, you can use the rainbow energy to attach someone on your bench to get that benched Pokemon on damage counter and then activate the Drampa. Or if you need the double dragon energy to attach to Drampa and then use a stadium to put a damage counter on someone on your bench, this is also possible, because Chorus's Tenacity and Guzman provide this kind of optionality that you can maximize, various types of combinations of cards, right? So you can put damage counters with energy, but you can also put damage counters with stadium. You can also search your basics with stadium, which is the Story Mountains, and you can also use Parallel City to give some kind of disruption and board control over your opponent's bench, right? Because if you let some types like grass and water just to let them do whatever they want to their bench, well, it will be a very difficult match. We all know how difficult it is to play against a grass type trainer that has like all their bench full, water type the same thing. So Prowler City is very nice in this deck. I know that some of the people will probably prefer Lost City. It is also possible, but I really like Prowler City because it gives you some disruption and some control over those matchups where your opponent just spams their bench, and they have a lot of supporter Pokemons available, right? So we want to limit that with the Prowler City. That is why we're not running Velocity, right? For the basic energy, we're running those 6, right? 2 of each. We want to maximize our Crispin. For the tools, we're using Floatstone, U-turn board. It is nice to have some redundancy if one of those gets prized. Typically, I would always want to get the U-turn board on the Tatsugiri because I can always attach to him. If I am unable to set an attacker, I'll just let the Tatsugiri die, get knocked out on the front, then this will come back to my hand, and then I can use something else to recover, and then bench my Tatsugiri again and have him available again with the U-turn board. But Floatstone can also be useful. Some of the times we will start with someone that like Regidrago, even Drampa and Regidrago, Drampa, and Druddigon on the active, and you want them out, so you can use Floatstone. And the Luxury Escape is super nice, right? Because in this deck we're using Guzmahala a lot. We're using Tag Call to maximize the chance that we open with the Guzmahala, so we'll often get one of those tools very early into the game. Not only the tools but the energies as well. So one of those energies, for example, especially the double dragon energy, will be played very early into the game, and when we get knocked out, the energy will be discarded along with probably the Luxury Escape that is almost always being blown away by the field blower. But then in a play we can use my secret sauce here, the Rosian's backup, to get back any energy that you want. You can get you back a 2 back into your deck. You can get back perhaps a Parallel City that you discarded very early on the game to set up your board. You can get you so many things, like it can get you those 4, which is very busted in my opinion. So Rosian's backup is really a great card. In one of my matches on the LAIC, one of my opponents was guessing my deck out, and then my deck was this thin with no energies. I had to find a double dragon energy, but I didn't have any, and I have already discarded my special charge. So in that particular match, I had to use Rosian's backup. And you know, taking advantage that my deck was this thin, I used the Dracloak ability to dig deeper. Two cards in my deck, one of them was the double dragon energy. I managed to energize the rigid drago that was on the active, and then knock my opponent out, taking my final prize, right? So you know, Rosian's backup can always be clutch, especially in a context where you have control of what is left on your deck. We can also use the other trainer that I will show here, but you know, Lotto energy goes very well with this whole mechanic that I was talking about, of you know, keeping track of what is being put down the bottom, you know, digging deeper and deeper into your deck. You know, it goes really well with Lotto energy. So you know, Lotto energy together with Rosian's backup are really great cards. You know, to search for Pokemon, I use Mysterious Treasure, Ultra Ball, Level Ball, Quick Ball, Mass Ball, Swing Heavy Ball, Evolution Incense, and Rare Candy. For utility, I would use the Escape Rope. For recovery, I would use the Rescue Stretcher, Night Stretcher, two great cards, Special Charge, Trainer's Mail for consistency, Versus Seeker for consistency, and the Field Blower, because you know, nowadays it is impossible to play without it, because almost every deck is playing Luxury Escape, and you always want to have to secure the knockouts, right? So this would be it from my side. It has been a great pleasure to play and try to master the Dragon Gym. I'm really happy to what I was able to do with this deck. Getting so far, like winning the LAIC for me was crazy, was very, you know, satisfying, where you know, hours of training and deck building had paid off. But I'm very happy with this deck, so if you have any questions, let me know. I'm always open for questions, you know, to explain one of my cards. Probably one of the things that I would change, the solely thing that I would change, would be this 50 HP Gibble. But other than that, I really feel like this deck is really close to perfection, at least to fit my playstyle. Okay, I would probably cut this to include the 70 HP one, but that is, other than that, I feel like the deck is very well-rounded. Okay, so thank you very much, guys. See you later.